Hi guys, welcome. This is Monkey in the Morning. I'm Monkey. This is the show, and away we go. Gonna be an interesting one. I don't know how well my internet's working. It seems to be spotty. It's working as well as my spine right now. Anyway, hope you're well. Hope everybody's having a good day. Hope you're feeling okay. I've had a rough couple of days myself. What's up, Jack? How you doing, my friend?
How you doing?
Feel like hell, but we're gonna push through that and try to have a fun show.
Yay!
We're gonna laugh at some retards and
Yay!
probably say some things we shouldn't.
So a day ending in Y.
A day ending in Y. All right, Jack. I don't have any big preamble tonight. Just did you see the video of the judge?
Yep.
Judge Hannah McStupidcunt. I forget her actual name.
Yeah, you're close enough.
I remember the Hannah part because I'm like, why do so many people name their little girls Hannah? Where does that come from? It's not a bad name. It's just kind of
people like bananas.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with its origin, so it bothers me. You know what I mean? So many things bother me. I feel like I would have a easier life if I could just accept things.
Yeah, but it's not as fun. The name Hannah is primarily Hebrew origin and means favor or grace.
Oh.
While the name is commonly associated with Hebrew culture, it also has some Arabic connotations as well as in other languages.
It's one of them Jew things.
Yeah, the root is
right.
HNN, Hannah, something like that.
See, I feel better just knowing an origin for it.
Yeah, she was the biblical figure, wife of Elkanah, and the mother of Samuel.
Oh, okay. Ben, thank you. This is when we were off the air for that feminist $12. Watergate was about a lot more than DNC rallies. Howard Hughes had been funneling a lot of dirty money into Nixon for favors and had recently fired his right-hand man. The guy was spilling the beans, and Nixon needed to know how much the DNC knew. Again, there's no evidence that Nixon knew about the Watergate break-in beforehand. I hear what you're saying, but they took it upon themselves to do this break-in. This didn't come from Nixon. Nixon's whole thing was the cover-up. Just saying.
Yeah. It really looks like G. Gordon Liddy thought this whole nonsense up.
Yeah.
And like he wanted to do it for Nixon, but nobody knows if Nixon actually knew.
Okay, so this is Judge Hannah Dumbass from Milwaukee. I forget her last name. I'm sure it'll say it in here. But I want to talk about the story, how we heard it, Jack. Because the way it was told originally is that this, on your screen right there, Eduardo Flores Ruiz is an illegal alien, and he comes into court, and the lawyer tells the judge, hey, okay, somebody in the court, I think they just said a court official, they don't actually say who, but said, hey, there's some ICE officers out there waiting. And so the judge was like, no, sir, and marched outside and told them they had to go talk to the head judge of the place. And they went and did that, and the head judge told them, you can't stand where you're standing, which, by the way, almost everyone we see get told to leave is sitting. But you can't stand there. You have to go somewhere else to stand. And at that point, the judge sneaked way down.
Monkey, is that you or me?
It's going to be a spotty day on this. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Just check.
But she let him down a back way out of the courthouse, and that's bad enough right there. That alone is just her giving him a different way to leave so that he wouldn't have to be rightfully detained as he's supposed to have been, is her aiding and abetting a criminal. That it's not even a question.
Absolutely.
And the media was like, oh my God, they're arresting judges. What she actually did is so much worse. All right. Right here in the background, I need to point this out right now because this guy, wait, make sure I'm you guys can see my pointer. There it is. This guy in the hat sitting down, he's one of the agents, plainclothes agent sitting there, and he's one of the ones that gets told he has to go talk to the head judge, Jack.
Maybe if he wasn't on his phone, he could have grabbed the guy right there.
They couldn't stop him from going to his court thing. That's why they wait for him to come out, because he's got to go through the court hearing. But anyway.
He meets his attorney in the hallway and walks towards Circuit Court Judge Hannah Dugan's courtroom. Along the way, he passes plainclothes federal agents.
These are two different agents from the one we just said, and that's why I wanted to point that out, because they're going to mention in a moment that she talks to other agents, and it's the other guy that was sitting
on a bench. They are there to detain him. After Flores Ruiz walks by, the agents turn to each other and appear to confirm his identity amongst themselves. But a few moments later, Judge Dugan and another judge approach the agents sitting on the bench.
There is nothing scarier than two white women sitting or walking towards you when you're sitting there minding your own business. Unless it's two white women in robes doing it. Because
yeah, that's
that.
Oh, brother.
What's this bitch want? Anyway.
A criminal complaint against Dugan later said she was alerted to their presence by a court official. That complaint says during this interaction, Dugan and the agents disagreed over the type of warrant they had to arrest Flores Ruiz.
Which is weird that she would even know that, right? They're like probably just guessing. That's why they disagreed. She had guessed and assumed she was correct.
We have a warrant to arrest him. It's the wrong kind of warrant. It's not your purview, lady. It's a federal warrant. Anyway.
According to the complaint, Dugan ordered the agents to go to the chief judge's office. Video shows her pointing them through a double door. She then turns back to speak with other agents further down the hall and orders.
This is where she goes and talks to the other guy that I was talking about. And it is important, I promise.
Them through the doors as well. Shortly after that, with the agents gone from the hallway, Eduardo Flores Ruiz and his attorney exit into the...
Okay. I want you to notice something about that door. Hey, Jack.
Monkey.
Can you see through that door?
No, not currently. My X-ray vision does not apply to video.
So this judge goes and gets these agents out of the hallway, and then somebody had to tell this person it's safe to go now.
After that, with the agents gone from the hallway, Eduardo Flores Ruiz and his attorney exit into the hallway through a different door. As they walk down the hall toward the elevators, they pass another plainclothes federal agent. Neither they nor Judge Dugan seem to have noticed that.
Apparently, they only notice plainclothesmen if they're sitting down.
Well, that dude is on his phone. Get off your fucking phone, dude. You're working.
They're all on their phones. They're trying to be nonchalant, Jack.
Yeah, they're playing a bunch of fucking Candy Crush or Words with Friends together.
Unique Jackalope, it's your birthday. Oh, wait, what does that say? Six years of surviving a near-death experience, and was your 36th birthday. Unique Jackalope, this is for you. And a 1, and a 2. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Unique Jackalope. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. I hope you had a good one. I really, really do. Dark Resurrect, thank you so much for becoming a member for month number 13. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Remember, we're brought to you by you. That's why I have such good internet. All right. So we see what she did here. She cleared the hallway, and then clearly somebody had to tell that person it's okay to go now.
Yeah, which was probably her.
Probably. If not, she had her court clerk or bailiff or somebody in on it with her. Maybe it was that other fat little judge that was with her. Have you ever heard of a courtroom with 2 judges in it?
No. But they're multiplying.
Apparently. But anyway. Link is in the chat. Oh, did I forgot to do that myself? Thank you. Dangerous. There you go. Now, if you want to support my shitty internet, you can do so. Appreciate it, guys. All right.
The time. That agent motions to another to follow Flores Ruiz. Security video shows Flores Ruiz exiting through a basement exit upstairs on the 6th.
See, this is the part where they skipped in all of the original news coverage. She goes from sneaking them out of a back way to them leaving from the basement, and the original reporting just skips all of that, so it makes it. They keep out that part where she clears the hallway for this guy, which makes this more egregious. Thank you, Matt. 60 watching and 14 likes according to my screen. Do better, chat. Have to Mr. Jack. Thank you so much. Hey, look, at this point, with as spotty as my streams have been, I'm shocked any of you are here, and thankful for every one of you.
Absolutely.
Floor, the other agents have left the chief judge's office and worked their way downstairs. Flores Ruiz left the building onto 9th Street. Videos of the street shows the agents catching up to him. Flores Ruiz runs across 10th Street while trying to get away, but the agents catch him and arrest him.
See, this goes back to that old joke about why doesn't Mexico have an Olympic team? Everybody who can run and jump is already here. He couldn't outrun the agents. They did catch him, so everything she did was for naught anyway. But this, how can anybody defend this?
She had to try, Monkey. He's a brave soul.
All of these people out there acting like they just targeted her because she was trying to help the poor downtrodden. She broke the fucking law. What happened to no one's above the law?
No one's above the law unless they're working for Palestinian causes or helping criminal illegals.
Yeah, the only time they say nobody's above the law and seem to mean it is if they're talking about a Republican. Because when it comes to them, they sure as fuck don't matter about the law.
Well, Republicans are people, and they're not above the law. These are not people. These are saints, Monkey.
How many other judges are willing to do this? Way too many. Way too many. She just happened to get caught in 4K. Nuts, thank you so much for becoming a member for month number 23. Hope you're feeling better. I don't, but I appreciate the thought. I sound better, don't I?
Hi,
I'm not
Stargazer.
grunting as much.
Well, I mean...
I was on a game stream with Satsu earlier, and I sounded like death. I've been able to put on a little bit happier of a voice, so that's something. Anyway, screw this judge. She's not going to face any real hard time. She's not going to lose her judgeship or her license or anything like that.
It's almost impossible to get a judge off the bench.
Yeah, and she's a state judge, not a federal judge, so you know what I mean? Is everything okay over there, Vince? I saw somebody say they saw you, and now you say it seems of trouble to being a shithead again. Jack, I forgot to refill my drink before the stream. Okay.
Well, you should go do
Up
that
on
now.
our list of people to make fun of.
Go refill your drink. What's up, chat?
And then to think of the media headlines and the way that it was framed as we were dealing, with the whole Jake Tapper thing. We're like, we just didn't know. Our press is just a bunch of lying shitheads.
Of course they
are. All right. Time to move on to Florida woman, one we don't want to be talking about. Florida teacher, Jack. Do you know where this one's headed? Have you seen this story?
I believe I did.
Florida teacher had sex with student in classroom hours before being arrested for illicit 8-month relationship. Anybody who hasn't seen this, you want to take a guess of the sex of the teacher? There she is. A high school teacher who was accused of starting an 8-month illicit relation. I love the relationship.
Yeah, well, when it's a woman offender, they don't call it rape.
It was a relation. Jack, they loved each other. It's Romeo and Juliet. Sorry, I'm getting a drink from way over here.
She is the Montagues and the Capulets keeping them apart.
They're just star-crossed lovers. It's so fucking sick. It really is. And look, I hope the young student isn't in any way messed up by this. I hope he gets the counseling he needs from that being the first thing he ever got to bang. It's not an attractive bird woman there, Jack. I do wonder, they never tell us, are any of these kids retarded?
There was one that was a special needs kid I was reading about yesterday or so.
It's bad enough that
yes.
they're taking advantage of children. Brooke Anderson, 27, faces 3 counts of unlawful sexual activity with a minor. Is that not a euphemistic way of dressing up child rape?
Yeah.
Unlawful sexual activity with a minor. Like she could have lawful sexual relations with a minor? She raped the boy.
They wouldn't care if she did.
No, he probably initiated it. He was the aggressor.
He pounced like a Republican.
It won't hurt him. He's just a boy. Boy.
Look, men are immune to female raping them. It's not possible. Only men are rapey.
True.
That's what I've learned from feminism.
Did you happen to catch which science she teaches?
Biology, isn't it?
It's biology. So when I read that, I thought maybe this isn't what we think. Maybe she was tutoring. You know what I mean? She's a biology teacher. She was, hands-on tutoring.
I've never seen tutoring like that.
I'm
sure it exists.
I promise you, it's a lesson he'll never forget.
Yeah.
We wouldn't even be allowed to make jokes like that if the victim was a female.
Oh, of course.
Be like, how dare you say stuff like that? Anyway, Anderson is accused of starting the relationship of September of last year, the minor told investigators. The relationship, would you stop? The relationship began with sexually explicit text messages and escalated in the weeks leading up to her arrest. So back in September, Jack, she starts sexually texting a child. And then she waited till near the end of the school year to be like, you're graduating. They don't tell us how old the kid is, so I'm guessing he's not actually graduating, but can I just go back and say once again, we got a 21 Hump Street. Stop it. We've got to do something about these female teachers. Because once again, she's only 27, Jack. She's been in the school since 2021, if I remember the story correctly. She's not that old. And it's just one of those things where it's like this woman is just, he's probably a cool kid who's paying some attention to her, and she just didn't get that in high school. And now she's the popular girl because everybody has to pay attention to me now. If somebody has a better explanation for why all these teachers are banging their students, I'm willing to hear it.
The teachers union is littered with pedophiles and they hire their own.
That is a definite part of it. But when it comes specifically to these female teachers who are banging these kids, women used to have standards. Why'd y'all get rid of your standards?
Well, okay, let's take a close look at this woman and tell me what kind of standards she's going to have.
Look, if she put on some makeup, she could be a 6. She could get laid by guys, man.
Yeah, but she doesn't want men. She wants boys.
She wants a little boy she can control and who has to pay attention to her.
Yeah, who will fawn over her and worship her.
Unlawful sexual activity with a minor could lead her to 15 years in prison. It won't. I'm just going to throw that out there. But seriously, we have a problem with female teachers. If there were this many we've skipped a bunch of them since the last time we talked about one of these stories. They happen all the time.
Well, they're being reported all the time now.
If men were getting caught banging their students this often, I'm sorry, in a relationship with their students this often, there would be howling. Oh my God, it's an epidemic. Teach them not to rape students. We'd have all kinds of stuff. But with the chicks, it's just kind of like, another chick banged her student.
Well, part of the problem is there's not that many men in teaching anymore because they've been chased out because a single accusation will destroy their lives. So the majority of men just flee.
I count that among the bad news, the news not doing their jobs well, because if they were, the word rape would be there. Uh-oh. Did I just... Oh. My computer is not... There we go. It froze up when I was trying to open the next story, and then you were quiet as I was talking and then didn't talk afterwards. I was like, fuck my computer. I'll
try and interrupt you more.
I appreciate it. David Lee Roth, thank you so much. Got it bad, but not for this brick-faced bitch. That's from Hot for Teacher. You know, though, that was the thing. You were hot for teacher. You weren't banging your teacher back in the day. The women are taking all the mystery out of everything, Jack.
Yeah. Or as we like to call it, ruining things.
I wonder what it's like to bang the teacher. And she's like, I'll show you. Just a little mystery would go a long, long way. All right. I hate to subject you guys to these two idiots again. Although I don't know if we're going to... I was asked if we were going to continue the Megyn Kelly thing. And I really do want to finish watching it. But a lot has happened since... what's that? A lot has happened since 2 days ago.
I saw a lot of people calling out Tapper, even on the left, and saying like he's being a disingenuous shitbag.
Who's the black guy? He used to be, I think, on ESPN. Stephen Smith. Yes.
I knew a sports thing.
You did. I was thinking Stephen Miller, and I'm like, I know it's not Stephen Miller. But see, this is why it's okay to go with the black guy, because nobody had to guess who I was talking about at that moment. If I went, the one who wears suits sometimes, he's kind of short on TV. Stephen Miller, God damn it, Stephen A. Smith, he did a breakdown of her takedown of Tapper. And when he's done watching it, he just goes, wow. And then he tells, like, I've known Megyn Kelly for a while. I've been on her show for a while, a few times, and I'm going back. He said, I think probably next week. And he goes, and one thing you don't say to Megyn Kelly is let's talk about the facts. Because she will beat you to death with it. She will have the facts, and you better. And then he gets into Jake Tapper, and he got really nice about it. I can't say that they were part of some kind of bullshit. At what point do you have to be lied to where you finally go, wow, they're lying to me? And he's like, I can't look into the heart of the man. I can't look into the heart of the man either. What I can do is watch that clip with Laura Trump and see that there was no ambiguity about what he was saying. He was just parroting the DNC talking points. And then he spent 4 more goddamn years doing it. And now he wants us to pretend along with him. He just didn't see what everybody else saw. All those right-wingers who were saying this, he keeps saying, Jack, in his little interviews and stuff, the right wing was right. Right-wing media was right. You clearly heard what they were saying, and you never once stopped to look at it and go, maybe they have a point.
He had his marching orders. You never question them until it's safe to do so.
He even admits, there were all these one-offs, these moments. Some of those moments were hour-long interactions with the media, where he read a speech and then took 3 questions before they had to whisk him away because he's clearly sundowning. but each one of those was just an individual moment Jake couldn't put together as an overall problem?
Yes, they were seemingly unrelated incidents, mysteriously tied together by some vague, nebulous connection that he was unable to solve. So it must not have been an actual connection, purely coincidental.
The other thing I do want to bring up also is that when Jake Tapper yelled at Laura Trump, you don't have any ability to question this man's cognitive. You have no place of authority there to say there's anything wrong with his cognitive ability. Yet Jake's out there right now selling a book questioning Biden's cognitive ability based on no medical knowledge. As far as I know, nobody quoted in the book is a medical doctor.
I'm telling you, he rented time at a laboratory, and that gives him all the authority he needs.
All right.
How has writing this important book, investigating the Biden presidency?
I just also want to point out, this is like the third time I've seen this motherfucker talk about his book on his network.
Oh yeah, they're shilling this hard.
It's pretty disgusting.
Jake, informed you about how to cover the current president?
Well, I just think in general, not Trump specific, but in general, I think that the press corps, and I'm certainly including myself, needs to worry less about politeness when it comes.
Jakey, your politeness is reserved for one side. Be honest about that.
Yeah, he needs to be less polite to those evil right-wing authoritarians, monkey.
But he's got a specific kind of politeness in mind.
Yeah,
Myself.
yeah.
No. I mean, he's going to give us one here.
Oh,
yeah. Hang on. Let's get that.
Needs to worry less about politeness when it comes to these health issues.
Just when it comes to the health issues, Jack. We
especially
gotta...
Trump.
And needs to be even more aggressive when it comes to demanding transparency on health issues when it comes to the president. President Trump, while he appears healthy, he has not been transparent about his health records.
One, who are you to say he appears healthy, sir? You're not a doctor. But two, notice suddenly, exactly, Faithless, now they want it. Now suddenly Donald Trump should have to, let me get that part out.
And I think that that's something that the American people have a right to.
We have a right to Donald Trump's medical records, Jack.
HIPAA would disagree.
Isn't it funny how Jake didn't have literally no questions about Biden's health? Even when he points back to the shit, like, I asked about Biden's age. Yep, you didn't ask about his health.
Why would I want to do that?
But now, suddenly, because he wrote this book and he now has a deeper understanding of why you shouldn't just repeat what known liars are telling you. Oh, wait, that's what you just did in your book.
What?
While I can believe every story I've heard so far from that book, Jack, the simple fact of the matter is all of the people who Jake tells us lied to him for 4 years are his source for these stories.
Look, your hate facts, they go deep and wide, and there's no place for that here, monkey.
They lied to me for 4 years, but here they're being truthful now. Dangerous. Thank you so much. So from Tapper to Tapper, from Tapper to Tapper, didn't you see the clip of Jeffrey Goldberg I sent to the hashtag? Pay attention to was shown by Goldberg to demonstrate they didn't cover for Biden. I didn't see it. I'll have to find it and check it out.
Real quick. Thank you, Pumpkin Trucker. Why does it periodically look like Tapper is giving the other dude a handy? I mean,
because he is. I love this whole notion. Like, what did you learn from this? That's Wolf's big question. What did you learn about how to cover the president? And it's like, well, Now we have this gives them the perfect excuse, Jack. No matter what happens with Trump now, let's say Trump trips in the next 6 months or spills something on his tie or slips down a fucking ramp again. They now have the perfect cover of, we have to ask about this for 6 days nonstop because we messed up with Biden and didn't catch what was right in front of us. So we have to do it.
Yeah, we have to ask, well, how's the president's health right now?
Yes, exactly. This is such a bullshit PR propaganda campaign, man. It is sad how many different ways I'm noticing that this book is meant to help not just the Democrats, but the press.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely about the press.
This isn't, hey, we screwed up. This is, we were lied to. We should have asked more questions.
We were deceived by our trust of our government.
And now, even though they'll just be doing the same thing they've been doing since Trump first entered the race back in 2015, they'd be like, we have to ask these hard-hitting questions. Isn't that the lesson I was supposed to take when you guys told me how I'm not the one who should have been saying this stuff? It's so disgusting. It's just gross.
Yeah, you see, it's unusual for the Democrats to lie to them, but the Republicans, it's to be expected. So they have to be extra alert with those evil Republicans who are known for pouncing. Especially
a certain Cheeto-colored Republican.
Yeah, they've been using the word ambush a lot lately. Have you noticed that?
Yes, they do like that phrasing. There was a story that came out 2 days ago, I want to say, where immediately like 15 different major news media, they're ambush.
Oh yeah, once they get a word, they lock onto it.
All right, from the orange man to the ridiculously white one, old David Hogg was on The Breakfast Club with Charlemagne the God and God, and they were discussing who should be leading the Democrats, Jack. Have you seen the clip?
No.
If you had to guess who David Hogg thinks should be running the Democrats, who should be the leader of the Democrats right now, who do you think it would be?
AOC.
You're not far off. Dumber, though. Actually, she's probably book smarter than AOC, but...
All right, so it's a woman. Jasmine Crockett.
Yep.
Because I was going to go with Hank Johnson, but you indicated it was a woman, and you said dumber than AOC.
Yeah.
Stacey Abrams was my third choice, so...
Jasmine Crockett, I love her.
Mm-hmm.
She is amazing.
Yeah.
I think that people want to see somebody who fights and calls out the...
He wouldn't share an elevator with her, but he loves her on TV.
Oh, he said he thinks, and I was like, no, you don't.
I think that people want to see somebody who fights and calls out the bullshit, ultimately.
This is how bad the Democrats are. This is what I keep telling you about how desperate they are for masculinity, even when it comes from a woman. A woman acting in a masculine manner who needs to put her dick away. Like, she is so awesome. She's manlier than I am. Dangerous, thank you. I learned that we need to be less polite when questioning politicians. Motherfucker, you've been a journalist for 27 fucking years. If you didn't already know that, you are the worst journalist ever. Well, you have to pay attention to what he said, Dangerous. Specifically they were only being nice to Biden on that issue because it was his health. They didn't do that with anything else. They didn't cover for him on the recession, on inflation, on food price, nothing. Afghanistan, yeah, they didn't cover for him on anything.
When he pooped in front of the Pope.
Remember, this whole book, the only lie that they were told was that Biden was mentally fit. There's a lot going on with the propaganda in that book. There really is. Anyway,
well, it's propaganda in itself. It's propaganda of propaganda.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
Anyway, Christ, that's a real voice. Yes, that is what David Hogg sounds like.
Yes, when you're getting probed by space aliens, that's the voice you're gonna hear.
I want you to picture him in his defiant moment in that suit. You know, the gray suit he's wearing. He puts his fist up in the air. And he looks absolutely retarded because his head is the whitest thing about his whole body.
Yeah. His poor mom, jeez.
I have a big head, and even I'm over here like, God damn, dude. It wouldn't be as noticeable, Dave, if you got some pecs and some delts and some shoulders on you. You'd look much more normal. You still wouldn't look normal because you got a giant head. But that Q-tip body you're rocking just ain't helping it.
I think that's what Jasmine does. And we need a hell of a lot more people that are out there that are willing to do just that and call people out on their BS and nuts.
When you're on a show that has microphones mounted to the table, don't hit the table, dick. Sorry. And somebody should have said that to him, like, hey, could you stop hitting the table?
Say, oh my God, Republicans are going to criticize me for saying this. Screw that. They're going to criticize you no matter what.
Did you see what he just did there? When you don't want to say that because then the Republicans will say you said this, but they're going to criticize you no matter what. This is literally the everybody's a racist, everybody's a Nazi thing.
Yeah.
Like, you might as well just say what you want to say because they're going to call you a Nazi regardless. So just go out there and be honest. Don't dress it up. Don't actually be a Nazi, but you know what I mean? You know, your conservative talking points or even libertarian talking points are like, yeah, Nazi. But no, we just always criticize the Democrats. They never say anything worthy of criticism. Sure, Dave. And for the record, I am with him. I do think Jasmine Crockett should lead the Democratic Party, the DNC. I think she should be their choice for president. Because I think it'd be funny.
So what we should be asking ourselves is, what are we really fighting for? Because we know it matters. And I think Jasmine is frankly the type of leader that we're really looking to support in some senses, right? Somebody who is out there that frankly doesn't give a damn what the other side, at least the elected Republicans in Congress say what they believe in. And at least, you know, even if you don't agree with her, you know what she stands for.
I don't know what Jasmine Crockett stands for. Jasmine Crockett stands for whatever will get Jasmine Crockett in the news.
Yeah.
That's
usually her ratchet accent.
Yep. Because notice that's the only time the media pays attention to her is when she's acting like that.
Yeah.
She don't care what nobody thinks. That's why when she goes to certain areas, she puts on a ghetto accent. But yeah, the esteemed vice chair of the DNC thinks that Jasmine Crockett is their model that they should be going for.
Is he getting fired or not?
I don't know. I haven't heard any updates on that story. My guess would be that they're not going to because it would get them too much bad press. Or if they do, they'll do it really quietly and just reelect him anyway to keep it out of the press. That way they can go, we did it properly this time. Even though there's no way to keep him and the black guy and follow their own rules.
Well, look, rules are fungible when they want them to be.
And for the record, I call him the black guy because I don't know his name. I just remember he was a black guy.
Yeah, I don't know who any of these people are.
But one of them should have been a woman. And while David is as close as you can get and still pee standing up, he's not biologically a woman.
Well, there's a lot of people that aren't biologically women in the Democratic Party.
I just want to share this one, Jack, because I think there's an important point. These are people, I think it's Columbia. I should just look at
it's either Harvard or Columbia.
It's Columbia University. These are graduates who have decided they're going to burn their diplomas. Holy shit, we don't need to actually hear it.
We're going to tear our diplomas. Look at that one. Blew that butt away. Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
Is that usually followed with a bang?
They couldn't figure out how to light paper on fire.
Well, look, they went to Ivy League school, so I wouldn't expect them to. They would have one of their subordinates do it.
Where's the part that I wanted? We're not watching this whole thing. Right about there. Yeah. I said there's several women here, and it bothers me that none of them could work a fire. There's a man right there. He can't work. None of these people can work a fire.
You use that word man like it.
I know. He's got a mustache, so it could be a woman.
He's a boy.
One started fire, even in a little tiny bit of rain there. Jesus Christ. They even brought a little aluminum pan that they were going to drop their burning diplomas into.
Wow. Somebody bought a pie tin.
Yes. Except for it's one of those big square ones for like turkeys and shit.
Oh, Jesus. They had high hopes.
But these women here, I feel like if they spent more time in the kitchen, they would know how to cook something.
You would think so, but they're modern women, so they don't know how to do anything.
Thank you, Snubbers. Means literally nothing. You can file for proof of graduation if your boss needs it. Yeah, it's meaningless.
Yeah, well, you could order a new copy of your diploma. It's like $30 or $50.
But look at how brave they are. We're standing up. All right. From now on, you don't get to say you went to college. How about that? You don't get to claim it. So go out there and good luck with your McJob. Not that you're actually, the sad thing is these people probably all work in HR somewhere.
Yeah, they've probably already got shitty jobs lined up, not just as baristas, but
check, they couldn't burn paper.
We live in dark times, man.
You can accidentally burn paper.
Yeah. Oh, maybe they should have asked for help.
That paper still could hold its form. It's not like it was all wet and noodling on them. It clearly wasn't too wet to light on fire, and they couldn't figure out how to light paper on fire. That is amazing to me. This is why anytime they start talking about revolution, we're here for the revolution. Like, go sit down. All I have to do is present you with a tiny problem and you're cooked. Unlike your diploma. See what I did there?
Yeah.
I'm smart. What else did I want to talk about? What is that one? Oh, that's the Judge Dugan thing. Oh, that's her name, Dugan. Judge Dookie. There was one more I wanted to discuss before we get on to the shooting, Jack. Because we do need to talk about the shooting.
Of course.
Let's just do the shooting instead. A shitbag liberal went out there and killed 2 Jews who I've been told one's not a Jew. He's a dirty Christian Zionist. It's a real thing I read.
Yeah, but he worked at the Israeli embassy, so that makes him a traitor.
He's a traitor. This punk ass piece of shit killed 2 people and then yells, "Free, free Palestine." That little chant we just heard.
Mm-hmm.
He yells it. And they're like, there's the usual suspects out there like, he's a hero.
Yep. You gunned down 2 innocent random people that work there. How does that make you a hero?
Wolfgang, thank you. If Monk were smart, where is your diploma? I don't have a diploma. I have a GED and I didn't go to college. That's why I'm smart. I read like the founders did.
You monster.
I know. How dare I? But anyway, yeah, the usual suspects are out there giving us the excuses for why it's okay. And he's just trying to stop a genocide. Yeah, because Israel's going to go, Oh my God, a lunatic killed 2 people in New York. Guess we should stop killing Gazans.
Yeah, he killed 2 random employees that most people don't know the names to. Yeah, they were super important to the country, so I guess we better. Well, we could hire new ones.
Pyra says, I heard he was a fan of Hassan. Okay, just from what I've seen no proof that he's actually any kind of fan of Hassan or listens to him or even knows who Hassan is. There's a likelihood, sure, but somebody from the ADL went on to, was it CNN? Wherever he went on, and blamed Hassan for this because, well, frankly, Hassan is a terrorist supporter and a terrorist encourager.
Yeah.
And before anybody says, how dare you actually call him a terrorist? He is. He's absolutely a terrorist supporter. He's cheered terrorism against police. He's cheered terrorism against Jews. I'm sorry, Israelis. Did you see Willie Mack's new video?
No, haven't had a chance.
It is about iDubbbz, but only briefly, and then it's mostly just tearing apart Hassan, which is funny. So check that one out if you guys haven't seen it. But yeah, the guy from the ADL goes on to, I do want to say it was CNN, and calls out Hassan for the rhetoric that he pushes, which, by the way, is the same rhetoric that's being pushed on college campuses all around the country. It's the same shit that has been allowed to be said on television over and over and over again. It's the genocide. The Jews are committing genocide.
Oh, war crimes, atrocities, because somebody attacked them.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. The people responsible for what's going on is Hamas. They still won't give back all the fucking hostages.
Yep. They don't care about winning. They care about killing people.
Yep. And they also know people in the West are fucking retarded and going to go, bad Jews. I'm sorry, bad Israelis.
I think you had it right the first time.
NBC quietly got rid of a tweet where they tweeted out that 14,000 Gazan children are on the verge of death. They're all going to die, Jack.
Oh!
And it was actually based on a UN report, which is also bullshit, that says 14,000 of them may suffer malnutrition.
Malnutrition does not equal death.
Here's what I need explained to me. And anybody in the audience who can do it, please feel free. How are these Gazan kids who require about 1,500 calories to maintain weight, Jack? That's about what children need.
Uh-huh.
How are they all starving and their parents, who need 2,000 calories, are fat?
Well, you see, Monkey, there's an equation called propaganda. And X
Propaganda
equals
math.
whatever we need it to at the moment to make the Jews look bad, because it's always the Jews.
So I mentioned before, there were no fat guys. There were no fat Jews in Auschwitz. But somehow the Palestinian men and women haven't lost any goddamn weight while their children are starving. I need that explained because those don't math unless they are starving their own children.
Well, look, they do anything for the cause. And let's face it, Hamas probably is taking the majority of the food that's being sent over there, like most warlords do. But yeah, it's again not our problem because they elected Hamas and Hamas started this war.
Yep. And I'm tired of hearing about the suffering of the children. If the children are suffering, it's because of Hamas. And this time I'm not even talking about them starting the war. I'm talking about there is no way that the men and women who are out there they're cleaning up after all of this. Those people should look like goddamn skeletons and their children should be fed. And instead they're feeding themselves and letting their children starve because they know dumbasses in the West to go, look at this kid that started. The Jews did this.
Yeah,
the Jews did it.
The only thing they have to do to get aid going back in is to give up the hostages, and they're not willing to do that. It's an easy fix. This war would be over by now if they would have given up the hostages.
Yep, but they won't do that.
No, because they don't care about it. They care about damaging Israel and killing as many Jews as they can. That's the only thing they care about.
All right. This is the other really great story. This is the ambush word, Jack, and
Oh, yeah.
the genesis of it blowing up everywhere. Trump ambushes South African president with video of attacks on white people.
And that was hilarious.
If you guys missed the story, the president of South Africa is in the Oval Office there with the president. And he goes, all right, stop, turn the lights down. He goes, watch this video. And he plays a video of the current genocide of white people happening in South Africa.
For the record, this guy did not cook it to pasta.
But the talking point goes out. Trump ambushes him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 different stories with that word in the headline. All within moments of each other.
Yeah, no talking points given out clearly.
Oh, I told you before, they don't have to give out talking points. Just the first person writes it, and then everybody knows that is the talking point. It's an unspoken rule. If the first story that came out said Trump viciously confronts him, then they would all say viciously confront.
And Abisi said, ambush, like the white South Africans?
Yes. All of these news places, like, oh my God, can you believe what happened in Gaza? These farmers aren't fucking with anybody. They're having their land stolen. Many of them just had it outright stolen already.
Oh, yeah.
And now they're not only being murdered. A part of the video that Trump shows is a leader over there in South Africa talking about going and killing white people.
That was the guy that was sitting next to him.
Oh, was this him? I didn't realize it was the same guy.
Yeah, he was the one singing about killing the Boers. Yeah.
Gotta go kill the whites. And like, how dare he ambush this guy?
I think it's great. Obviously, people aren't pushing back enough.
Well, this is the media that couldn't see Joe Biden was out of his fucking gourd.
Yeah, that's true. It's amazing how angry they are about Trump bringing over actual refugees from South Africa, but they don't want to admit that it's because they're white.
Yeah.
So they're like, he's doing all these deportations, but he's bringing in new refugees. How does that make sense? Because your phony ones don't count.
Yeah, because these are people actually being murdered over this shit.
And what were they waving when they got here? American flags.
Yep. All right. It's been a while since we've watched one of these. Apparently, it's like go back in time night because we're hitting some oldies but goodies. First, we had the teacher with their relationship with a child. Fucking weird.
Oh,
and now,
God.
Now we got a transes out here who's going to tell us about what Trump is doing to us. He's making things bad for the transes. And fuck you, Sean, for making me say that. John Jones, thank you. You missed my super chat. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Hang on, let me. Wait, did I miss like a couple of them back here? What the hell?
Apparently.
I am so sorry. Let me bring up the. Notice how the left does not call for gun control in situations such as this. Thank you, John.
That's a good point. They don't.
No. How did I miss that one? I'm so sorry, dude. Did you see that one come by?
I was not looking at chat at the time. Sorry, guys.
There was another one right at the time, but I didn't see the second one come through. Now I feel horrible.
Yeah, I've been bouncing back and forth between chats and various other things. Sorry.
Will it get me off the hook if I say I feel like I'm miserable today in pain? Don't let me off the hook for that. Don't ever allow me to use that excuse.
No, that sounds like one of them crippy excuses.
The only time I can use it, I'm like, this is why I sound this way, guys. All right. We should do this because we do it with these kind of things. Give me a 1 if you think this is a man. Give me a 2 if you think it's a woman.
What is it with leftists and weird eyebrows? Have you noticed that? That bald guy we talked about the other day had like giant caterpillar brows. The one before that did too, and now this one. I'm noticing a trend here. Trim your fucking eyebrows, weirdos.
Remember the blue bracelets after Kamala lost?
Oh yeah, so you know who a good ally was?
Yeah, I think that's what this is.
Oh, they're signaling each other with their carpet draped eyebrows.
Yeah, it's like I look like a douche. That makes me, your buddy.
You're safe around me because if I blink, my eyebrows will blind me. Real quick. Thank you, Evolved Potato. They're just killing the white South Africans. They're also brutally torturing them before killing them. Oh, yeah, and raping them a lot, too. This might make Monk mad, but there was a grandmother who died from shock by being forced to watch her granddaughters being forced upon repeatedly.
Jesus.
That does not surprise me. It's really fucked up over there.
Yep.
It's gotten a lot worse than the last couple of years, too, because I saw that documentary Lord Southern did, Farmlands, which really, I think, didn't do justice to what was going on. And I've been kind of keeping an eye on South African news every now and then. And yeah, it's gotten pretty crazy over there. There's some pretty horrible shit going down.
Thank you, Dangerous. You know the best part of that? The South African president brought a couple of white golfers as guests. One of them told his direct experience of family members being killed on their farms. Whoopsie. Yeah, I mean, if I had the video up, we could watch more of it. But one of the questioners, the reporters in the audience, starts asking Trump nonsensical questions. I forget what he asked. I think it was about the plane from Qatar.
Yeah.
And Trump just lays into him. And then for the rest of the thing, just keeps making remarks about how stupid he is. At least on 2 other occasions, long after the question is over, he brings up how stupid that guy is for asking questions like that. Anyway, to our transes is in case you didn't get that they're trans, they got little rainbow earrings too, Jack.
Yeah, because that pointy chin and masculine nose and eyebrows really didn't give it away.
Terrible news for transgender people in the United States. Under the cover of darkness, the House GOP late last night banned Medicaid funding for transgender care for all ages.
I'm tired of this. Under the cover of darkness.
Oh, in the darkness of the night. That's when evil strikes. They did it during the witching hour, no less.
Everybody knew they were doing it. Everybody knew the vote was coming. It was broadcast everywhere. It's not like they did it in a secret back room a la Obamacare, fucker.
Yeah, they did it in the Obama Star Chamber.
For God's sakes, man. They did it under the cover of darkness. Like murderers do.
You know what they didn't do, Monkey? They did ban dental care.
This person doesn't know that, though. They have much more important things on their mind.
Yeah, other than their British teeth.
For the record, Medicare shouldn't be paying for transitioning.
No, there's a lot of stuff Medicare pays for that should be.
It is not a medical necessity. No. There you go. But I want it. Get private insurance, fucker.
Yeah. What you want and what you get are 2 different things. You get what you get and you don't throw a fit.
Medicaid is supposed to be about need. But don't worry, they're going to tell us how needed it is later, and I'm going to lose my shit.
Oh.
Yes, that includes transgender adults. A previous version of the bill banned Medicaid funds for trans youth care. But then a last-second change was made to the bill to appeal to hardline conservatives, striking the words, "for minors."
Because it shouldn't just be about 4 minors when you're talking about my money. Because right now, we're not talking about banning this. You're not banned from getting this stuff. You're just not able to do it on my dime. And still, this hasn't been passed through the Senate and President yet, but hopefully.
Look, I am so tired of people expecting everyone else to pay for their shit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, there are no free rides. The rest of us have to work for a living, struggle, fight tooth and nail for what little we've got. I do not want to pay for your nonsense desires and whims. Fuck you. You want to go get this done, save money, get a job, get 2 jobs. I don't care. Not my problem. I don't care what you do with your money. I care what you're doing with my money.
Yep.
This is nonsense. There's so much freeloading crap going on right now. I'm so tired of these parasites leeching off of us.
Who is that chick that Rush Limbaugh called a slut? Sandra something, right?
Something like that.
She gets up in front of Congress and tells how it costs her $3,000 a year for her birth control, and she shouldn't have to pay for that. That's expensive.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, if you're paying $3,000 for your birth control, you're overpaying.
Yep, by a lot.
Fluke, thank you, Sandra Fluke. You can go to Walmart, and it's probably a little more expensive now, but you could get a box of 50 condoms for $11.
Yeah, and the pill's like $15 a month or something like that.
No, she needed $3,000 a year, and you should have to pay for it because I'm not responsible for myself.
And she was like well off too. She was from an Ivy League school, rich parents. Shut up, bitch.
But
I'm so tired of this. This person's delusion is not my problem. Therapy, fine. We can pay for some talk therapy, but you don't get to have the government pay for your chopping your no-nos apart.
It's cosmetic surgery.
Oh, absolutely. Just like you don't need soda drinks when you're a welfare recipient. You want that? Get a job. You don't deserve to have your rent paid for. You want that? Get a job. Unless you're a cripple or elderly, no. You don't get any of that shit. We shouldn't be paying for anything for these freeloading illegals. There are so many people just milking the public dime that feel entitled to it. And I am sick of this shit. How many more generations of parasites do we have to have? Because they're just going to go around and leech off more and more and more. It never ends. It's never enough. They always want something else. And then they plop out a couple of kids and the cycle continues.
By definition, all gender affirming surgery is cosmetic surgery. It is not necessary for you to live. And if you're like, I'm going to off myself if you don't, that's go move to Canada. I don't really care.
Yeah, your emotional blackmail has lost all value with me. I'm sorry. It doesn't work anymore. I don't care. Yep. You do what you're going to do. All right.
Speaking of which, did you see Canada? There's a report up there. I forget what body it comes from, recommending allowing minors to sign up for their suicide squads.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The minors for maid or something like that.
Without parental knowledge.
Yep. Yep. They're creating suicide centers. And it won't be long before they start encouraging like the mentally ill, much more like almost mandatorily doing it.
It is amazing. It is amazing to me how the slippery slope just doesn't seem to stop slippering despite being a fallacy.
Yeah, well, they say that just so they can dissuade you from arguing with them about it, and pointing out what their real goal is, which is eugenics. Eugenics and depopulation.
Because they're still all in love with that stupid population bomb book.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, we're overpopulated. No, we're not. No, we're not. Shut up.
All right, back to this dude. And I do mean dude.
Now, that care could be banned for all ages for those who rely on Medicaid funding to access it.
Wait, say that again?
Now, that care could be banned for all ages for those who rely on Medicaid funding.
It could be banned for those who rely on Medicaid funding it.
Well,
that's not a ban.
Yeah. Well, it's a ban because they're taking away their freebies.
You could genuinely say out of reach for them.
No, they a ban means they're entitled to it, which is what they think. They think they're entitled to this. Every month, the beginning of the month, they get their happies so that it's free. It just comes out of the cornucopia of the gods there, and they get it. And you're trying to take it away from them. The more that you get the free stuff, the more you feel entitled to it. The more it's part of you. It's yours. They're taking something of yours away.
Thank you, Wolfgang. Slippery slope, only fallacy when it's not logical. I don't know that I like the term logical there, but I had this discussion on Twitter. There are times when people, oh, it's a slippery slope when it doesn't actually fit. But if you have something you can point to, say, I don't know, historical context, that shows that this is where you're headed. It's a straight line from here to here. It's not a fallacy. It's the expected outcome. And the person with their, I'm going to do the same thing, something different will happen this time. That's insanity. Anyway.
Funding to access it. The UCLA Williams Institute estimates that over 150,000 trans people in the United States are on Medicaid.
Why? Why are so many trans people on Medicaid? Wasn't Medicaid supposed to be for old people? No, that's Medicare. Medicaid is for poor people. That's what it was.
Yeah. It's supposed to be for mostly like crippled people.
If you're so poor that you're on Medicaid, and there's nothing wrong with that, I understand. Should changing your sex really be what you're worried about?
It shouldn't be very high on your priority list. Medicaid is supposed to be for basic survival stuff. That is not what this is. And people need to grow up and take responsibility for their lives. Seriously.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, most of the people on Medicaid are children of poor families.
It's usually poor people, like
Yeah.
really, really dirt poor people.
This is why when back during the Obamacare stuff, they never presented it as something for poor people because poor people already had coverage through things like Medicaid or Medi-Cal, state programs. And it didn't become, it takes care of poor people until afterwards. Anyway.
If this ban becomes law,
If this ban becomes law, ban of payments, just us paying for it. That's the ban they're talking about because they just conflated that a moment ago that transgender care will be banned. Nope.
Yeah, they see it as you're stealing from them.
To gender-affirming surgeries will definitely be out of reach. Meanwhile, hormone...
I don't give a rat's ass if your cosmetic surgery is out of reach. You don't have some goiter taking up your whole face. Then at least I could feel bad for you and go, all right, maybe we can pay for that one.
That would be more of a medical necessity than what this person's talking about.
Yeah. You wanting to haggish your penis is none of my fucking concern.
Yeah. Do that on your own dime, dude.
Therapy and blood work can cost hundreds of dollars. Transgender people may be placed into a state of medical detransition, which can be mentally and physically hell for trans people.
Going back to your biological reality is hell. Weird.
Well, look, if they actually had dysphoria, maybe, but 90% of these people don't. They're tag-alongs.
And if this person was like, we need to get psychological care to these people, I'd be like, yeah, because they clearly have a psychological problem.
Yeah, but that would still be covered, and
yeah,
this nonsense isn't. So if you want to medically transition, you can pay for it.
You taking hormones your body immediately starts rejecting because it's not the hormone your body is supposed to have. Not my concern. Pay for that on your own fucking dime.
Right? I would rather this money being not wasted on this nonsense and be given to people that actually need it. I'm sure there's a cripple that could use a new wheelchair out there, and they're not getting it because this asshole is spending hundreds of thousands of dollars mutilating their crotch.
Thank you, FL. Fun fact, many of the original environmentalists came directly from the fallout of the eugenics movement in universities.
Yep. It's not something they talk about very much because it's largely a bunch of communists.
Yeah.
Real quick. Thank you, Wolfgang Deo Cripple. Thanks to these assholes abusing the handout system, people still harass me when I revealed my disabilities. They seem to think that because I am not in a wheelchair that I'm not disabled. Yeah, that's a common problem, actually. Yet they ain't my damn doctor. Also, I still work a lot. Yeah, you probably have to because these assholes are milking up all the resources.
I don't know if you remember, but a long time ago, one of my little trolls used to be like, "Why are you living on Social Security?" I've never been on Social Security. But they were trying to get me with a gotcha because I'm a cripple. And I was talking about government waste. Like, why are you on Social Security? I'm not. Haven't needed it yet, Jack.
My brother, when he first got diagnosed with cancer, didn't qualify for income from Medicaid because they said he had made too much money.
Yep.
So he didn't get any money coming in. He just got like a couple of resources, and that was about it.
Hey, this person needed to have their dick cut off on our dime instead.
Yeah, I would rather give money to cancer patients like Eagle and several other people. Like he just mentioned it in chat. That's a good use of money. That not this fucking freeloader who's like, I just want to chop, I just want some fake boobies and chop my ding ding off. No, dude, no. That's a word we have to use more often. No.
You know what would be really good for these people?
A punch in the face?
No. Having to pay for it themselves and learning a little bit of responsibility.
Yeah. Well, responsibility is a lost art these days, just like common sense.
I saw an interesting graph the other day that shows that millennials are becoming more and more conservative as they're getting into the notion of buying their own homes. I'm like, really?
Yeah, because the bullshit that they've been fed all their lives is starting to be chipped away.
It's amazing what growing up will do for you when it comes to growing up. Anyway, here comes the part.
Some of those people are in their 40s now.
True. But that's what happens when you coddle them their entire lives, including in their adult life.
You are setting people up for failure doing that. It's repulsive.
Anyhow, here comes the part that's going to piss me off because this person's about to say something really retarded.
It is important to note that trans people who have had surgery require hormone supplementation.
No, they don't. No, they don't. Jack?
Monkey?
Do you know what a eunuch is?
Yes.
Do you...
Trying not to comment. Keep going.
Eunuchs have had their testicles removed.
Yep.
They've been castrated. And we have stories of eunuchs going back hundreds, if not thousands of years, long before hormone replacement therapy was even a thing.
Yeah.
Before anybody thought of the concept of replacing hormones, before they knew what hormones were, eunuchs existed.
Oh, yeah.
But these people...
they were the original transes.
But these people require it. No, you don't. It is not a requirement.
No, you don't.
Dark Resurrect, thank you for that feminist $12. Oh, shit.
Nope.
My mother-in-law had to fight for 10 years to get her disability, and she has fucking seizures. The system is bloated and fucked. Yeah, and it's people like this who are abusing the system. Yep. I saw a thing the other day, Jack, about how many hours it would take to give just a half-hour hearing to every known illegal in the country. And I forget what it is, but it's something like more than 10 years of working nonstop with all of our judges to adjudicate maybe it was just a minute. I forget the exact number. But the reason that our immigration system is so fucked up and so backed up is because it is so overloaded. It's the same thing with any of our entitlement programs. They are so overloaded that people who actually do need it often can't get what they need because people like this shithead on your fucking screen right here are like, I need my hormones because I willingly had my balls cut off.
Yeah. A lot of times you're going to get rejected the first time, so you got to do the process 2 or 3 times. It's really disgusting. I'm really tired of leeches. People that need the help should be able to get the help, and these type of Hangers-on and parasites should get nothing.
Yeah. This is what happens when government helps. Even though I'm not full on, hey, we don't need a safety net. I'm fine with the safety net. The problem with the safety net is that the way it's implemented, one, go back and look at what Roosevelt, even what a douchebag Roosevelt was, what he said was needed versus what people tell you is needed today.
Yeah. Yeah, a safety net should be temporary, and it shouldn't be everything your little heart desires, because it breeds this type of freeloading. And they're just leeching and draining the system for people that actually need it. I'm tired of this crap, and I blame a lot of it on LBJ and the Great Society.
Yeah.
They created these the generational welfare mooches. And this is just a new version of that, because if we start giving them transition, you're going to have to do aftercare the rest of their lives, however short that may be. And you're looking at like hundreds of thousands of dollars just being flushed away on this person's desire to butcher themselves. They're borderline suicidal ideations.
Tim says we're wrong, that I meant castrati, not eunuchs, because eunuchs have everything gone. Anybody who's had their testicles removed, because the penis doesn't create any of the hormones. That's in the testes. So either way works. But I'll take your point. Absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of times they'd cut most of the ding dong off too.
Yeah.
Just so they could you still have a little bit to pee with, but you won't be able to have sex. And most of the time, if you got your balls cut off, they cut away a lot of the muscles that let you get an erection anyway. So
yeah, the point being though that there's nothing, even removing the gonads completely doesn't mean you need hormones to survive. Will your life suck, especially later on? Yeah, but that's a choice you made. You're voluntarily castrating yourself. Well, letting somebody else castrate you. You're letting somebody get rid of all of your bits and bobs and then being like, I need hormones. And the notion, Jack, that if you get your nuts cut off, you need hormone replacement. The hormone replacement that you would need at that time would be the testosterone your balls are no longer making, not the estrogen you're pumping into yourself. This is nonsensical. They require it. No, you don't. You're a fucking idiot.
Well, this is part of the buying into propaganda. It's getting people butchered and eventually killed.
Yeah. All right.
This is sickening to pull them off their care. And I just wanted to say, we have been saying this time and time again. It was never about kids. It was never about sports. They always meant to expand anti-trans bans to adults as well.
You're not banned for being trans, weirdo. You're just not allowed to have me pay for it anymore.
Oh, but you have to. It takes a village, monkey.
And now we are seeing it. The bill passed 215 yes, 214 no in the House.
And fuck those two Republicans who voted no if they did it based on this. I don't know what they voted against it for, Jack. I didn't watch the debate or anything.
It's probably a couple of rhinos like Murkowski or somebody like that. Collins.
Those are senators, though.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, though.
No, yeah. People like them, not them specifically.
Yeah,
I'm just
somebody from a mostly blue state.
But I'm trying to think of anybody. Maybe Massey voted against it, thinking there's too much spending in it. I could see that.
Yeah.
But certainly not based on this alone.
Oh, God, no.
And now heads to the Senate, where it may need only a simple majority to pass.
Well, it will need a simple majority to pass because they can use reconciliation because it's a budget bill. Whether they go that route or not, I think they probably will, Jack, just because there's no way they're going to get 60 votes for it.
Yeah.
By the way, it only needs 51 to pass because that's how the Senate works. It needs 60 for cloture to end debate on it. And until that vote happens, you can't actually vote on the bill. Just a little history that I'm sure this idiot doesn't know.
This is a very sad day for trans people in the United States.
I tell you what, homie. Leave. Go be happy in Iran where they'll do it all for free.
Can you imagine the doctoring in Iran and what you're going to end up with? Ugh.
I'm just so annoyed with people.
I'm tired of the freeloaders, man. I
Yes.
really, really am. We have so many people that just feel entitled to take from everybody else.
Oh, hang on. I'm so sorry.
Like, share, and subscribe, guys.
I keep getting a shooting pain in my left shoulder.
That's did somebody stab you recently?
If only, because then I'd have an excuse for it.
Oh, maybe somebody has a voodoo doll of you.
I've considered that over the years many, many times, and I have pissed off a lot of people, so I guess it's possible.
Well, you know, something to do.
Sticking on with the transes, I see you brought us a transes article.
Yes, this I thought was interesting.
All right, this one coming to us from Post-Millennial Horror. Trans-identifying male pedophile, a little redundant, housed in Minnesota women's prison, hoarded bottles of semen to impregnate. What?
Yeah, you read that right.
To impregnate inmates, according to a whistleblower, Sean Windingland, whichever.
She got me, dude.
35 has been serving a 36-year prison sentence for sexually assaulting two relatives aged 6 and sharing the footage online.
This person should be under the prison. I don't care which prison, as long as they're not among society anymore. But putting them in a women's prison and then they're profiting off of it with jars. First of all, how do you have a collection of semen jars in your cell?
Not to mention, semen doesn't have a long shelf life.
No, it really doesn't. But what the absolute fuck, man?
So he's a pedophile, a retard, and a liar because he's not a woman. Knock it off. This is exactly the kind of person who belongs in Gen Pop in a male prison.
Yeah.
With a big tattoo on their forehead of what they did. Jack, I once had to take a semen sample to a doctor because when you have a vasectomy, they make you do that.
Yeah.
And
your own semen. Okay.
Your own semen. Yeah, you can't just a rando off the street kind of defeats the purpose.
Dude, fill this cup for me.
And in order to make sure that the sample is as fresh as can be and everything, you only have like 15 to 20 minutes to get it to them.
You should just do that in their office.
They didn't have the facilities for that.
Oh, they don't have a bathroom?
No. And nobody wants to be the guy who's coming out of that bathroom.
Nurse, could you help me here?
He's sitting there with a tent as you walk out. Like, we didn't hear the faucet.
Well, I didn't wash my hands. Fuck you.
To drive it there, because I live 15 minutes from there, so we're cutting it close. I had to drive with it under my arm.
Yeah, keep it warm. Yeah.
Keep it nice and warm, yeah. I don't want to be that guy. Nobody wants to. The only kind of people that want to be that guy is the guy we're talking about in this story.
Maybe the dude from the last video.
He wants to do it at a daycare center. Anyway, a trans-identified male incarcerated in a women's prison in Minnesota, because of course it's Minnesota, allegedly hoarded bottles of semen with the intention of impregnating female inmates. I'm so confused. Was he going to throw it at him? I don't get it.
It's a baby bomb.
He's just going to pour it on the toilet seats and hope it works?
No, he's going to shoot it like a pepper ball. So it hit him right in the crotch.
Gotcha. But according to a whistleblower at a correctional facility, Sean Windingland, 35, a biological male, was placed in the Shakopee Women's Prison due to Minnesota state law enacted in 2023 that allows inmates to be housed in correctional facilities based on their gender identity instead of their birth sex. I don't know how to tell this guy this, but those women have a receptacle for semen.
I think he was looking at like mass production, not just the intercourse, but like you could get it off tap or you could get it out of the freezer, you know.
Where are we? Winningham has been serving a 36-year sentence for what he did to those poor children, and he shared this footage online. He has since been removed from the facility and transferred back to a men's prison. Good. I want to see.
He tries to sell his semen still.
Did you see the pictures of that guy who's been arrested repeatedly for road rage incidences?
No.
He's a Tesla driver. He's kind of famous online. I'd seen him before. I'd seen one of the videos before. But he has these severe road rage incidents, and one of them, he's tailgating this lady, and she pulls over, and he speeds past her, and she yells, "Slow down." So he stops, gets out of his car, comes over, has a confrontation with the woman where he ends up hitting her, then going around the car to beat her mother.
Jesus.
The mother threw coffee at him, and I'm on her side with that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But he's gotten away with it time and time again. Well, he's in jail again, and apparently he got the ever-loving shit kicked out of him in prison.
Somebody knew somebody. Well, first of all, you don't mess with the elderly because a lot of people in jail were raised by their grandparents.
Yeah.
So that's always a bad plan. You don't go after Meemaws. That's off limits, Cuomo. Yeah, so fuck that guy. He apparently had it coming.
Yep. A guy like that, they might not even have known what had happened. He probably ran his fucking mouth and got his ass whipped.
Yeah, I'm fine with that too.
Yeah, there's video of him taking a metal pipe out of his car with him to confront somebody behind him, and he beats the shit out of their car.
That's
yeah, the guy's an
get
asshole.
Shot.
Yeah, he's lucky he hasn't. Anyway, where are we? Upon them searching his room, they found bottles filled with semen. He was storing it, I guess, to impregnate the imprisoned persons. You mean the convicts?
The inmates.
Are we really an imprisoned person? We gotta dress up convict prisoner.
Yeah, well, they're not unhoused. They're
the felons.
What do they call those? Justice challenged people or something like that.
Yes. The criminals. Anyway, do they ever get to like a statement from him?
Do you really want a statement from that guy? Come on, dude.
I honestly don't know if they're going to tell us, but I do wonder because this makes it sound like they didn't actually get that from him, that they're guessing that's what he was doing it for.
Yeah, I think that's well, look, he may have just been like, my babies.
He was storing it, I guess, to get convicts pregnant or to give it to them so they could try to impregnate themselves. Okay. Thank you, Wolfgang. Convict, you mean the forcibly housed? Yes. Yes, indeed, I do. This guy's gross, and I hope to hear an update about his situation in the Stillwater. Is that what it said?
Yeah, I think so.
Because fuck him. Minnesota, you guys are wrong for this law, and you fucking know it.
Did you hear about what happened with Michael Mann?
Please tell me it's something horrible.
Well, he's a climate scientist, for those of you that don't know. The D.C. court finally settled some lawsuits, and he has been ordered to pay $477,000 and $350.80 to two individuals in a long-running libel case.
Tell me one of them, Stephen Malloy.
It's Rand Cyborg and The Competitive Enterprise Institute.
Oh, okay.
It's a nonprofit. I think Michael Stein, the commentator, I can't remember his first name. Anyway, I think he's suing the guy too. But this is on top of the $530,000 that man was ordered to pay to National Review back in January, which we talked about briefly.
Anything bad that happens to man makes me smile, because that man is a fucking shitbag who has caused so much devastation in the world.
Yeah. And he, Mark Stein, that's the guy's name.
Mark Stein, okay.
Yeah. There's a couple people that this guy has libeled over the years, and now he's out almost $1 million between 3 plaintiffs.
Good.
So
Fuck
National
him.
Review getting $530,000 is a pretty big win for them.
Michael Mann is a propagandist and a liar and the chief architect of the climate change hoax as we know it today.
Yeah, if you guys want to read the court documents, it's linked in this tweet that I'll drop in the chat.
Will you DM that to me too?
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, it's pretty fast. I tried reading some of it, but I got busy and was doing other stuff, so I couldn't really be distracted with it at the time. But it's definitely worth a look-see if you're into court stuff.
This video is going to get us claimed, but we're going to watch it anyway.
We can skip it.
Worst case, I got to cut it out and people won't see it later.
Yeah,
right.
Shady sent me this, Shady Grin, and I was really impressed with it.
I think I've seen it.
Yeah, you might have.
You smell anything?
No.
It's a sin.
Oh.
All right, I would remember that joke. I haven't seen this one. I feel like I've seen those 2 before, though. All right.
Here we go.
Okay.
See any fruit? It's a pear.
I'm gonna say it's 2 cents, but okay.
See any cars? 3 cents. 3 Lincolns.
Okay.
See any snakes?
2 snake eyes.
4 copperheads.
Oh, very cool.
See any pussy? Not for 4 cents.
Well played. I kind of guessed the ending on that one.
Yeah. It cracked me up today. I thought people could use a laugh.
No, that one was good. I like that. All right. What else did we have on the agenda today, Jack? There was something else I wanted to talk about, and I don't remember what it was. I watched way too many things. I was watching a lot of cold case files last night because I could.
Oh, yeah?
Over the last, I think I'm almost to 72 hours. I've had a total of about 6 hours of sleep. And once again, every time I wake up, my wife goes, "You didn't sleep very long."
Huh.
I know it's her way of showing concern, but I'm just like, I'm aware. I am keenly aware that I didn't sleep very long. So yeah, I was watching cold case files, and man, there's a lot of fucked up people out there.
Yeah. Well, there's a whole channel devoted to murder porn.
I watched this one. I forget where it was at. It's this wasn't on any of the major ones. This is one of those YouTube folks who does their documentaries.
Yeah.
About this case where these 2 guys break into a house and torture and rape all the people involved and make them rape each other and then take them out and shoot them.
Jesus.
And the only way they got caught is that the one chick that they shot, the bullet bounced off her hair clip a little bit, so it didn't kill her.
Oh, I heard this story.
Yeah, it's fucked up. And I'm like, how do you even become that kind of a person?
There's just some people are just evil. I don't know if they're not born with a soul or what.
Yeah, it was one of the few where I was like, I really wish I hadn't watched that.
Yeah.
What else is going on?
Did you
go
see
ahead.
Scott Adams has prostate cancer?
I did not, but I wish him well.
Yeah, he's just only apparently got a few months to live.
Oh fuck, dude.
Yeah, and what was it?
Oh.
Eagle mentioned that CBS is going to settle with Trump for between 30 and 50
Yeah.
million is what it's looking like.
And the theory is that they're only doing it because they're trying to get a merger deal through, so they're basically buying off Trump.
Yeah, so they could, because pending lawsuits tend to hold up any kind of mergers.
Yeah, I'm sure they're giving him 30. The billionaire is like, "Yep, give me that 30 million, and I'll let this happen." It's he's not even going to be involved in that part of it. It's got to go through the FTC.
Yeah, it could get shut down, but he's still going to get paid.
He's going to get paid because he deserves to get paid.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the things that I am definitely on Trump's side about is the nonsense. It is way too hard to sue for slander when you are famous.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't just have to put up. Oh, it's the Nancy Mace things what I want to talk about. You shouldn't just have to put up with people out there slandering you because you're famous.
Yeah.
All right. Did you see the Nancy Mace stuff going on?
Yeah. And I tried really hard to look at those images, but haven't found a really high definition copy yet. For research purposes for the show.
We're not going to watch this. I just want to put it on the screen so I can tell if I get disconnected. Nancy Mace is sponsoring or co-sponsoring a bill on voyeurism. And so here's the story as she told it to Steven Crowder, and massive fuck you for sending me a Crowder clip to watch this on. And in fairness, it was an okay interview. But the story is that her and her ex were having some trouble, so they go to marriage counseling. And the marriage counselor tells her ex, hey, for trust, you should give her your phone and let her look through it. And so she goes looking through the phone and she finds all of these pictures of her and other women naked or semi-naked or upskirts. Those are the things that she says.
Did the counselor tell him to not delete anything?
I don't know.
That would have been step one before handing your phone over, I would think.
But there's a couple of things going on here. One, and this is one I am glad Crowder asked the question about. This camera is from inside his house.
Yes.
And it is a very noticeable camera. This is not a nanny cam hidden in a teddy bear. So she knew that camera was there when she's walking butt naked through the living room.
Well, I mean, I could see where some people are just very oblivious, or they're told it's a dummy camera because they make those too.
But she doesn't make that claim. And instead, when she's asked about this, she just gets really defensive about it. Says, well, why did he only keep pictures of when there's naked people? Probably because they're naked.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think about all this, but I do have to agree with the Crowder folks. Oh, fuck you, massive. When she goes up here, this part that you're seeing right here, this is at a House hearing where she's chairing this committee looking into her man having naked pictures of her. And she is blasting out names, calling this guy a creep. And he's not been charged with anything. And Gerald just goes, couldn't you have done this without saying his name? And he said, well, I'm interested in justice for women if bad stuff is happening, but also protecting men, because once the charge is out there, it doesn't matter what's found out. There's always going to be people like, oh, you're the rapist.
Yeah. And
he goes, couldn't you have done this without using his name? To which Nancy goes off in a whole other direction about how horrible it is. And like, that's fine. But you could do this without sharing the names. The British do it.
Yeah, it was unnecessary, but there is probably a level of bitterness there that isn't going to be satiated without saying his name, because you know how women are.
And that's my problem with this, is that this is such a personal thing to her. This seems more like a vindictive girlfriend than somebody who's really worried about the safety of women.
It does come off as very, very bitter. And I understand why. Like, nobody wants to think that somebody's got their nudes well after they're not together anymore. It seems dirty, but
here's the thing, because like with revenge porn, at least I understand that you're sharing those pictures. This guy didn't share this with anybody. It was on his personal phone.
Yeah.
And she wants to outlaw that.
Well, upskirt shots are different than surveillance footage. So I would argue that the surveillance footage is fine. You're the one wandering around naked in the house. That's kind of on you if you knew the cameras were there. But upskirts and stuff like that, that's gross. Don't do that, guys.
Yeah, don't do that.
Real quick though, thank you, Okie Native. What do you think of Super 7 Toys laying off a large chunk of their employees and blaming tariffs? I think they're full of shit. Even though they claim to have been having a record year before that, don't mention their declining quality or they operate from San Francisco, though. Yeah.
We'll get to price range or price increases and tariffs here in just a minute.
Yeah. Thank you, Okie. Yeah, we'll address that more directly here in a few minutes.
What company was that?
Super 7. They make toys.
Okay. In this case, she also alleges and puts this out into the world that he had pictures of minors.
Oh.
Or
that's a harsh statement, man.
As she puts it, some of the victims are minors. And she claims that the South Carolina law enforcement apparatus just doesn't care about this, so we need to make it a federal bill. No, we don't. We don't. We need to stop making everything a federal issue.
Yeah. I understand the local cops probably don't want to do anything about it if he's a somebody.
Or maybe it just doesn't qualify for anything because this bitch was walking naked through the house and there's a internal security camera. And so he did nothing wrong. He didn't share this with anybody. He didn't take it without her permission. She walked buck naked through his house.
Yeah, if you walk buck naked through my house, you're going to end up on about 5 cameras. Because I have cameras all over the goddamn place.
Oh.
There has been a lot of controversy in South Carolina over SLED, which is the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, and how they tend to play a little fast and loose with the rules. But this is a state issue. This is not a federal issue. States should have rules against peeping toms and perverts, but having surveillance cameras in your home is just good security.
Yeah, it just comes off like jilted lover to me. I'm sorry, Nancy. I want to like you, but you didn't actually show anything, and you made a shit ton of public accusations against this man. And look, maybe he's the creep you say he is, but you didn't show anything that shows that. You did tell me you're a freak walking. My wife won't walk naked through the house.
Yeah. I just found it weird when people do that.
Oh, I'll do it if I'm alone and I need to walk through the house and I don't feel like putting on clothes. Like I showered and forgot to bring clothes with me. And yes, I do that more often than I wish I did. I will walk naked through my house to get to my bedroom to get my clothes on. I don't just stay in my house naked.
What if a time traveler shows up?
They should have known. They had the history. They'd be like, Frank's gonna be naked right now. That's on them.
Okay, that's a good point. Yeah, I don't know. I just found that weird. I dated a chick that would walk around naked, and yeah, it weirded me out. I'm like, put a towel on her bathrobe.
I feel weird if I'm naked too long.
It's that shame you get from Eve giving Adam an apple and telling him that it's free. The first welfare freeloading queen.
But anyway, there's the Nancy Mace stuff.
Mace, just in case. Yeah, look, overall I generally like Nancy Mace, but this was just a bit of a swing and a miss because surveillance is not the same as upskirt shots and like taking pictures of random people on occasion. So yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. So Nancy, I can't be on your side on this one because you haven't provided proof, and your refusal or seeming refusal to answer why you had to drop his name is concerning to me.
She's angry.
Yeah. On the screen is the Nike swoosh, Jack, and as promised, we're going to talk about price increases due to tariffs. Nike, as well as a few other tennis shoe brands, have decided that they just have to raise their prices, Jack, because of tariffs.
Sure, not because they already are charging you like $80 extra on the $2 they pay the locals to make this stuff. Oh no, we need more money. Fuck off.
You know, I was thinking about video game pricing. I'll tie this in, I promise. Because about 5 years ago, video game developers decided that $60 was no longer an efficient amount of money to get out of people for a product. It had to be $70. And when you just say $60 to $70, it really doesn't seem, it's only $10 more. But if you do the math, that's like 18%.
Yeah, it's a very high percentage.
And now they want to do it again up to $80, which from the original is a 33% increase.
Well, as I saw a quote from somebody about that, they said real fans will find the money.
Randy Pitchford, yes, he was asked about, somebody said, please don't make Borderlands 4 an $80 game. You, as the owner, have some say with the publisher. And he came out and said, not my call, and real fans will find a way to buy it. And then explained how in 1989 he bought an expensive Sega Genesis game.
What?
Yeah, that's what the whole tweet is. And then he got called out on that, and he's like, I didn't mean to be dismissive of our fans, but he doesn't apologize for it. He's just a douchebag.
These price hikes are going to hurt a lot of people. And what gets me is everybody's blaming the tariffs for a convenient time to start letting people go and to raise prices. Well, most of the tariffs have already been negotiated down. It was just a short period of time people were overreacting.
Or completely put on pause, like the one with China. It's just on pause right now.
Yeah.
Because my wife came to me and she goes, did you see Walmart's raising prices because of the tariffs? I'm like, doesn't make any sense. The tariffs haven't actually kicked in.
Yeah, the tariffs that did kick in were like 35% because there's a couple of them that are going through, but they're really small. The 35% compared to 200%, massive difference.
And the majority of, look, I realize Walmart has to restock themselves, but they have massive quantities of that already ordered and already here.
Yeah.
Thank you, Snubberth. Nearly all games are digital now. Tariffs are a lie. I haven't seen any of the game companies blame tariffs, but give them time.
Well, like Oki had asked me about in the Streamlabs tip. Super 7 is a toy company. A lot of toy companies are already freaking out. Funko is probably going to go out of business. Not because of the tariffs, but because their product sucks. And it's overpriced for what you're paying $20 for some little trinket that goes on a shelf and you do nothing with. Super 7 makes action figures. They're called Reaction. And they're basically like the 70s Star Wars toys. Yeah. Where the arms go up and the legs move and that's it. No, like Kung Fu grip. They're kind of getting into that stuff more now. But they're blaming the tariffs, but they've been making products for pretty much everything they could get a license to. I don't think Tomorrowland needed action figures. Did you ever even see that movie? I know I did.
Tailfin says Nintendo did. Nintendo did on the Switch too, but not for the games. They didn't say the game pricing had anything. And what Nintendo actually said was that they were going to look into whether or not they have to adjust pricing based on tariffs.
Yeah, there's a lot of tariff blaming going on for bad business practice. Like Super
Yes.
7, their quality has been going down significantly over the last couple of years, and their prices have just been going up. They make those action figures that when we were kids, Monkey, were $1.29 each.
Yep.
They are $22. They started out at $17.99 a few years ago, and now they're $22 for one figure, and they don't even have vehicles.
I hate to give Michael Moore any credit here, but with Nike on the screen here, when Flint is going out of business because of the cars are going away, and so Flint is dying, he goes to I believe it was the head of Nike. Somebody who works for Nike, and he goes, "Why don't you guys build a factory for your shoes in Flint?" And they said, "We couldn't get Americans to make shoes." And he goes, "I'll get you a petition of a whole bunch of people willing to work in your plant."
No, what they meant was they won't work for nickels.
Yes. Nike could move their plant here, make all of their shoes here, and still make a massive profit without changing their pricing. Even with unions being a real thing, when you are charging $80 to $500 for your fucking shoes that cost you 15 cents to make, you can afford it. They're only doing it because it keeps them, their labor, that's what I'm looking for, keeps their labor ridiculously low.
Yeah, because they're making incredible profits. They want to maintain those vast profits instead of making smaller profits.
Yep.
And the only way you can do that is with borderline slave labor, which you're not going to get here.
And if you want to run your company with slave labor in China, I don't give a shit. So be it. But when the toll comes in and people start paying attention and going, "Hey, you're basically taking jobs for Americans to make yourself richer so you can pay for women's basketball," go fuck yourself. I don't care. You do not need to raise your prices. And the thing is about people who are so loyal to Nike, they'll pay them. They're already overpaying for shoes.
Yeah, which I find stupid. They're paying for a status symbol.
Yes.
And that's kind of shallow.
Ever since Michael Jordan becomes the spokesperson for Nike, instead of a shoe company, they became a status symbol. And now you have grown-ass men stabbing each other over shoes.
Yep. It's
their shoes, guys. Stop being women.
Yeah, and the more expensive this stuff gets, the more likely it is people will look for cheaper alternatives, because your average person who's not a complete nut bar is going to find a similar equivalent. In a couple of years, if these tariffs hold, there'll be factories making stuff here. That's the plan. That's the whole point of the tariffs, is if you're not going to buy our product, we want to punish you for bringing your shit over here instead of people buying local.
Eagle says, "Fuck Nike, they're awful shoes." I like the Nikes that I've had. The problem that I have with Nike is most of their shoes are ugly as shit.
Yeah, I'm with Eagle. I've never had a good pair of Nikes, and they are ugly as shit. So,
thank you, Evolve. Oh, sorry. Thank you, Evolve. Games should be cheaper. Most don't make entire engines anymore, and most games are digital, so the cost of physical product is much less. Well, the problem comes in with the development cycle of these games now. I mean, games, you go back and you look at how quickly Baldur's Gate and Baldur's Gate 2 come out. If I remember correctly, it's like a year apart, maybe 2 years apart. Now, I mean, how long has GTA 6 been in development? And they just told us it's not coming out until next year at the earliest. They have these massive studios doing all kinds of stuff that don't make the game any better. I promise you they could build the GTA 6 in the GTA 5 engine. I don't even know what engine they use there, but they could build it in that engine, and other than a little bit of lighting differences, it's going to be the same game.
Yeah.
So, not to mention all of their DEI nonsense and their anti-Gamergate. the number of HR departments they have now, they are spending way too much, just way too much. And then they're like, but we got to rate. We haven't had a increase in prices in decades. So we're going to do it all at once.
So,
okay.
Yeah, the only people they're punishing are their customers. People start buying games that aren't AAA, that are cheaper.
And better.
Yeah, more entertaining, most likely, to get more hours out of. Look at how much you've gotten out of 7 days.
Yeah, and I paid $8 for that game.
Yeah.
The Schedule 1 that came out not that long ago, I've gotten hundreds of hours out of that game, and it cost me, I think, 24 when it came out.
Wow.
Tons of indie game. Balatro, a card deck game, Jack. It's a really interesting game. That game is $14, and everybody who's played it just gets addicted to it immediately.
Well, even like the retro style games that aren't super fancy, like that Stardew Valley you were playing.
Yep.
Those, you get hundreds of hours out of that, and you pay almost nothing for it, comparatively speaking.
And when it's an indie game, I am much more forgiving about bugs and shit, especially like with say Balatro or Stardew or Schedule 1. These are all games that were made by individuals. One guy made each of those games, although the guy who made Schedule 1, he did hire somebody for the music and to do graffiti for the game.
Yeah.
Everything else was him. He didn't need a massive art department of 400 blue-haired feminists who sit around whining about shit.
Oh, yeah, it's a waste of money right there.
He didn't have to run it through Sweet Baby Ink to make sure that it was politically correct. There's so much bloat in gaming now that it's... I understand why they want more money, because they're spending way too much money.
Yeah. Well, it's just like movies. You know, they're wasting a lot of money on frivolous nonsense that nobody asked for.
Meanwhile, one playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3 is 600 hours, and I never got bored as they keep adding subclasses for free. Yeah, Baldur's Gate, I don't remember what the release price for it was, but I'm pretty sure I paid like $25 for it when it came out in early access. That one I picked up as soon as it came out in early access because I'm a fan of the first two. Meanwhile, the creators of the original Baldur's Gate series, many of them go to work for BioWare, Jack, and BioWare is probably going to end up out of business because they just fucked the Dragon Age release. According to their earnings call, they missed their sales goal by 50%.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Wow. Were they doing the soundtrack for Snow White too?
Christ, man. Look, BioWare is one more bad game away from just collapsing.
Apparently, geez. Have they analyzed and thought about what they're doing wrong? Probably not.
Well, I've seen several people talk about it, and so many of them are like, "Well, the game it's not in the tradition of Baldur's Gate Dragon Age, because it's supposed to be an RPG and it's an action game." You can get away with that switch. What turned off so many people about it was the overly preachy nonsense. They have a scene in this game, Jack, a cutscene, where the character misgenders another one.
Oh, yeah, I heard about this.
And then to prove that they're actually a good person, they do push-ups to punish themselves so they remember in the future to use the right pronouns.
That's fucking dumb. See, this is like a borderline religious cult. That you have to punish yourself. You have to whip yourself in the back, or you're not actually sorry. Oh, you're such a bad human.
These companies, whether we're talking about gaming companies or Nike or the toy makers, they're all suffering from their own decisions.
Yeah. Oh, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions.
Dragon Age is unironically an example of go woke, go broke. Yes, absolutely. Because we've talked about this before. There a lot of games, even ones that I enjoy, have woke aspects to them, but they don't beat you over the head with it. This game beat you over the head, and then when you were on the ground, kicked you in the nuts with it.
Real quick, thank you, Evolved Potato. There's an indie game I've recently played for anyone who likes Warhammer Fantasy Tabletop. It's called Solve, SOVL, Fantasy Warfare. It's free, but there are DLC races. Really fun, really simple. I encourage everyone to try it out.
What was it called?
Look into it. SOVL, Fantasy Warfare.
Oh, okay. Claire Osborne is an amazing game, putting the AAA games to shame. I know the people who like that game or love it, and I'm glad. Me, baby, come back. Oh, hi.
Hi.
As for Claire Osborne, it's just I'm not a big fan of the art style. But for the record, I wasn't a fan of Borderlands. That's why I didn't play it until I played it with Satsu, because he's like, you got to play it. And I'm like, all right, fine, fuck it. But the cell shading, I wasn't a fan of. It's what kept me away from that game for so long. Wolfgang, thank you. The game trains you and then teabags you with yours. Transes you and then teabags you with yours. Yeah. I don't know if I can put that one on the screen. Sorry. I don't have any sympathy for these companies who are doing it to themselves. Nike could have brought their factories over here, and even if they were paying their workers $20 an hour, that's one pair of shoes an hour, which they more than make up for.
Yeah. I want to show you something here in a second as soon as it loads. Something that I found the other day when I was fucking around online. Speaking of go woke, go broke.
Monk, you should see the Borderlands movie. I will probably eventually watch it just for the cringe of it, but I refuse to recognize it as a Borderlands movie.
Yeah, video game movies have a horrible track record of people just fucking them right in the ass. Like,
well,
oh, you liked that? Time to ruin it.
The Warcraft movie actually isn't a bad adaptation. It's just that the Warcraft lore is so deep. To make that movie meaningful, you need a 10-year series of that. And the people involved with it did a really good job of staying as true to the lore as they could, and they did a good job. The problem with the Borderlands is that Pitchford was involved and cared more about getting to meet stars and hobnob with them than caring about his own product. I have never seen somebody hate their own product that much.
Yeah, that does seem to be a problem.
Kevin Hart was his idea.
That's stupid.
I don't know how you're involved, especially being the owner of Gearbox, and be like, you know who should play Roland? The funny midget. Anyway, what you got to show me, bud? Did you find it?
All right. So let me damn it. Yeah, there we go. See.
USP says, if you can't make your movie in the game engine, I'm not interested. This is what I've always said about WoW. Because if you go back and look at the cutscenes from especially Warcraft 3, they still hold up really well. Their in-house animation studio there at Blizzard could have made it in-house with CGI and it would have been excellent. And why they didn't go that route, I will never know.
So I found this role-playing game. Do you know who Critical Role are?
That sounds familiar.
They do a show on YouTube where they play D&D, and they've been profiteering off that for quite a while. They do like live-action recreations, and now they have their own role-play game out. And one of the interesting things I found was this. It's called the X card. And this is a safety tool created by John somebody. Yeah, he created the X that allows everyone in your game to edit out any content that anyone is uncomfortable with
Jesus.
While you play. Since most RPGs are improvised and we won't know what will happen till it happens, it's possible the game will go in a direction that people don't enjoy. An X card is a simple tool to fix problems as they arise. So they just make a little X on a note card and hold it up like Mafifis.
I want to offer this guy a suggestion, and feel free to use it. Instead of an X, put a vagina on the card. One, the people playing will be happy to finally see one. And two, it's far more accurate.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was annoyed by this, but it gets worse.
Oh, nice.
Because I was looking at their new RPG, right? And you're like, oh, they have a new RPG. I bet, maybe I want to buy this. I don't know. I'm not going to buy this because you know what they have on here? They got rid of race and created heritage. And then you look over here and you see that word? Pronouns.
Nice.
On the character sheet. Fuck you.
I like the heritage thing. I hope that Palestinian is an option for the people who are going to play this.
But oh, you're not an orc anymore. You're of orc descent. Your heritage is orc. Oh, shut up.
It's all about the pronouns, man. All about the pronouns.
It's all about feelings. The X thing had me, and I was like, that's fucking dumb. And then I downloaded the character sheet, and I'm like, you have got to be shitting me. You have pronouns on your character sheet? I'm never buying your game.
I'm shocked.
No interest.
I'm shocked D&D doesn't, honestly.
Well, there's talk that that's going to happen.
Of course it will, because it's all run by it's not run by people who enjoy the game anymore. It's run by people who want to ruin everybody else's enjoyment of the game.
Yeah. Their idea of fun is making it so you don't have fun. But this is like downloads of all of their types of character sheets, and they all have this crap. It's disgusting and it's lazy, and it tells you what kind of people they're looking for an audience, because it's not regular players.
And I wish them luck with it, because I keep hearing about how this is what people want, yet every time they do this shit, people reject it.
Yeah.
And then they're like, how come people are mad at us? You're just bigots.
Well, I showed you that new edition of the D&D Player's Handbook that had the wheelchair dwarf in it. It was like, it's fucking dumb. Real quick, thank you, Dark Resurrect, for that feminist donation. Why is D&D so gay now? We have circled back around to being embarrassed about being a player. Yeah, but you used to have fun doing it, even though you were mildly embarrassed about it. It's my secret shame. It was fun. Now it's tedious. I walked into a game store the other day. There's one in not far from me, about 20 minutes away. And I walked in there, and there were a bunch of blue hairs playing D&D. And they were organizing an event. They weren't fighting monsters. It was like they were organizing a convention of some kind. And that they were like, we should have streamers. Yeah. I was like, what the fuck is this? What is this? This is dumb.
Real quick, Wolfgang, thank you. Palestinian goes under subclass.
Subhuman.
You could always tell, like back in WoW, which guilds were basically run by women, because they were the ones who like, we're having a wedding today.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, half the people at the table that when I saw this were men.
Yeah.
What passes for men these days? I'm like, you guys better be gay, because you are never touching puss.
No, they're thinking that they're going to get to bang those ugly, fat, blue-haired chicks.
Oh, it's so sad. But
you're fat, my greasy hair. That's a match made in heaven.
I guess it's just tragic. Like, it used to be a male power fantasy, especially for like weakling nerds or like outcasts and misfits. You get to be the hero. You get to go out and do amazing adventures that you couldn't do in real life, slaughtering your enemies wholesale in the process. And no, now it's like, well, we should have prom.
Yeah.
Ugh. I want to play out Harry Potter, but not give J.K. Rowling money.
It's just weird to me that they have to invade these spaces. And look, if that's how you want to run your game that way. Just don't make it a part of the official thing, like the wheelchair. The thing that you shared with me, they were specifically going into an old mansion, and the guy's in a wheelchair. Now, unless they added elevators, the wheelchair is an impediment. And for you could just use a floating spell. Well, you could use a floating spell on your crippled legs.
Why don't you use a heal spell and fix those crippled legs?
Yeah. I do not understand. Like, no, I need to be represented in the game.
No, you don't. The whole point is escapism. I don't want to be me in the game. I want to play an action hero.
I tend to play humans, but it usually comes down to the racial bonuses.
Yeah.
I play human or an elf, but it's because of the racial bonuses. I don't want to deal with the negatives that come with the other ones. I don't need to see me in the game.
No. It's just very frustrating to deal with. People not only no imagination, because otherwise they won't want to see themselves in the game. But also like demands. They make these unrealistic demands. Like, you have to respect my pronouns in game.
Well, I need to see myself in the game. Well, then why aren't you playing a flabby titty couch dweller?
Right? Yeah, with diabetes and no stamina.
No, I need to be badass in a wheelchair. Then that's not you.
Yeah.
I have never killed anyone with an axe, Jack. I've done it many times in video games.
Yeah. Passing thoughts, maybe. But, and there's a lot of things you can do in a game that you can't do in real life. Stop trying to have fun, Mr. Jack. I know. How dare you try to have fun? Yeah, that's kind of what it is. These people are a bunch of moral nags, and they have fun by bitching about other people and trying to control them. If you're having fun without them, they don't approve of that. And that's why they invade these places. It's not only to corrupt it with their weird commie bullshit and their self-righteousness, but they also don't like you having fun because they're not having fun. So you can't have fun. There's a lot of narcissism involved in this.
Thank you, Keldrig. I'm fat and weak in real life. Why in the hell would I want to be like that in a fantasy setting? These people confuse me. No. You're missing. See, this is the funny thing about the self-insert. It's never actually a self-insert. It might look like them, but they're magically way better than they are in real life. Because in real life, they're sitting around a table with 4 people with pimples pretending to go to prom instead of turning on some music and dancing, which you could do. It's them, and look, the guy's in a wheelchair, so I'm represented. That dude is casting a fireball, fucker. Let me see you do that.
Right?
The whole idea of being represented in there is just nonsensical, because they're not wanting to be who they really are. They're trying to live vicariously through this fucking character while it's a form of narcissism that's just so weird.
We have encouraged this kind of behavior for a decade or two now. It's really disturbing. I'm tired of it. These people just are draining. I don't want to deal with them. They're annoying.
When you and I were coming up, it was, this is my character. Now it's, this is me.
Yeah. They take it as a direct threat to themselves because you're attacking them by attacking their creation. They cannot separate themselves from it. It used to be if somebody was like, your character sucks, be like, yeah, well, it's mine, so fuck you. And I'll do what I want with it. I'm having fun. And that's all anybody cared about. Are you having fun? And if you weren't having fun, make a new character or go play with a different group. There were different types of gamers. There were the ones that wanted to be junior drama club. There were the guys that just wanted to roll dice and break things. That was usually me. And then you had like your power gamers that min-maxed everything as much as possible and argued over the rules for pointless amounts of time. But each group, if that was the dynamic of the group, they were all having fun doing it. Not allowed to do that anymore.
Keep seeing in chat, being told that some games are on sale. Yeah, the whole Warhammer. Well, I don't want to say the whole. A lot of Warhammer games are on sale right now, including Space Marine is 40% off. I'm not going to play it. Space Marine 2, sorry. But tons of people love that game. So if you're into that, it's only 35 right now.
Nice.
Yeah. With that, Jack, I think we're going to wrap up, and I'm going to go moan to myself in private.
I'm going to complain a lot and probably watch Bigfoot's Exorcist.
That sounds like a good thing to do.
I feel judged, but I don't care. Multi-class and cleric makes kind of tribal shaman. Oh, yeah. That's a good idea. You still with me, Monk? Or are you in pain? Oh, hey, JB. Moaning, complaining. Yeah, we're old. That's what we do. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Monk. We're still live, though. Yeah, sorry to get on the RPG rant, you guys, but that really kind of pissed me off today. And I know a lot of you guys are gamers. No, we usually use that instead of 5e. Yeah, I don't blame him, Caldrick. A lot of people are making homebrew stuff or going with other companies. There's a lot of good games out there. Old stuff, new stuff. There's a lot to be found. Plays Pira 1T. Last time I checked, I'm not a humanoid snake person. Yeah, well, some of these people I don't rule out. Oh, wow, Eagle. Oh. Make sure to sing us off. I can't close the show out. So I could sing, but it won't do any good. We'll still be here. Tim's claiming control. Cool. Yeah, he left. Yeah, I have no control over ending the show. The most I can do is leave, and then you'll just be looking at ducks. Megatron has fallen. He'll be back, though. He always comes back. Yeah, like Brandon said, don't forget to hit the like button. Like, share, and subscribe. Entertain us like a monkey. I'm the organ grinder. He's the monkey. Sing before you leave. I don't sing before we leave. That's his job. BTM. The Warhammer RPG is pretty cool. Just bought a new computer. I get to play 7 days because oh, nice. Congratulations, Adabisi. How are the Love Dem denizens? Oh, they're doing fine. They're adorable. They say things like, when do I get to go home? And some gibberish in another language that must mean, I love you, Mr. Jack. That's what they're always saying, I assume. Oh, Mr. Jack, you're so big. I love you. Oh, hey, what's up, Monk? Monkey. Monkey. Monkey no speaky. Monkey. Oh, mic won't work. Oh, gotcha. Well, at least you're here. Mic is muted. Did you check? Unplug it and plug it back in. He needs a new microphone. I think that's what's screwing up his system. Either that or it was like Planet of the Apes and they cut his vocal cords. New edition's crap. It figures. Yeah, the old edition was great. I played, second or third edition of that. It's probably second edition. Might have been first edition. That was a fun game, though. It was really hard. I like simple games. Nice, simple, easy to remember rules and rolls. I just want to roll dice and break stuff. Well, Wolfgang, look, good advice is worth what you pay for it, and we don't really pay attention. Well, have a good one, Eagle. Looking at some of the West End RPGs like Ghostbusters and Star Wars. I really liked West End games. Their Star Wars game was a lot of fun. And I had a bunch of stuff for it, and then it got stolen. But their Star Wars game was great. They'd had so many source books, especially if you wanted to play like the post Jedi stuff. There was a great campaign. I think it was called the Dark Strider campaign, where there's like a lone Imperial Star Cruiser out in the far reaches. It was really interesting. Had a lot of potential. You could do a lot with that. Yeah, pretty much, Dangerous. I do not like complicated games. I don't want to have to constantly flip through a book to look up some rule to argue with somebody over some petty nonsense. It's annoying. Nickel worth of free advice, but tariffs.
Bum, 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 bum.
Oh, there he is.
Fuck. First, my internet died, and then I come try to get back in, and my mic is dead. Fuck all of this. I'm going to bed, y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for coming and hanging out. Thank you so much for the donation. You guys are so kind. Jack, anything you want to show?
I'll drop a link to a cool video. As always, thank you guys for coming out and supporting us. Thank you for all the donations. You guys are amazing. We really appreciate it.
Now I'm angry and frustrated, so I'm just leaving here. Jack, a pleasure as always.
Always glad to be here, dude.
That's what I needed to get more stress so that my muscles tighten up. Grr. Take care, guys. We love you. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye is the word of the day.